Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of America Latina al Dia, bringing you the voices of change on CFRO 100.5 FM, Vancouver's cooperative radio station.
Muy buenas tardes, sean todos bienvenidos y bienvenidas a un nuevo programa más de América Latina al Día, trayéndole las voces del cambio a través del CFRO 100.5 FM de la Radio Cooperativa de Vancouver.
And thanks for joining us this Saturday, May 12th. It is 12:05 on a sunny Vancouver afternoon. Coming up on today's show, we're going to have a live interview via telephone with Nino Pagliccia, and I hope he'll clarify his name pronunciation, but I think it's like that. He's an activist and a writer based here in Vancouver. He's one of the organizers for the Hugo Chavez People's Defense Front, or the Frente para la Defensa de los Pueblos Hugo Chavez. He is a Venezuelan Canadian who follows and writes about international relations with a focus on the Americas. He's also a frequent contributor to the People's Voice, Global Research, Counterpunch, and Telesur, and you can follow him. You can find him on Facebook and Twitter, and if you follow us on Twitter, we tweeted him yesterday, so you can check that out there. And he is also the editor of the book, Cuba Solidarity in Canada, 5 Decades of People-to-People Foreign Relations. So that's coming up a little bit later on the show, and of course, as every week, we have a news segment and some special music prepared for today's show.
Gracias por sintonizarnos. Hoy es sábado 12 de mayo del año 2018 y para el día de hoy vamos a tener una entrevista en vivo con Nino Pagliccia. Él es un activista y escritor que vive en Vancouver. Él es uno de los organizadores del Frente para la Defensa de los Pueblos de Hugo Chávez. Él es venezolano, canadiense, y él escribe sobre las relaciones internacionales que se enfoca en las Américas. Contribuye él frecuentemente en la publicación People's Voice, Global Research, otras publicaciones también incluso en Telesur. Está en Facebook, en Twitter. Nos hablará ya un poquito más de dónde pueden localizar más información acerca de él. Nino también él es el editor del libro La Solidaridad Cuba en Canadá, 5 décadas de gente a gente, relaciones exteriores. Y tenemos como siempre nuestro segmento noticioso y una selección musical especial que de hecho vamos a iniciar con una canción. Vamos a escuchar y contemplar toda la belleza y los colores de los humanos, no importa dónde nacieron. Vamos a explorar todo esto con una bella canción llamada Humano de Lido Pimienta.
So we're going to kick off the show with a song called Humano by Lido Pimienta, and it's a song that kind of allows us to contemplate all the wonderful colors of humans, no matter where they're born, with this beautiful song. And we can remind you afterwards about where to find us live online. So enjoy the music.
Otro humano y un africano, es un humano y un mexicano y un colombiano y un africano, es un humano y un canadiense y un boricua y un argentino, es un humano.
Welcome back. You are listening to America Latina al Dia, bringing you the voices of change on CFRO 100.5 FM, Vancouver's cooperative radio station. I just want to remind everybody that you can listen to us live on coopradio.org. You can reach us here at the station by phone, 604-684-7561. You can give us a call, let us know if you have any community events to announce, share with our listeners. We also welcome your comments by email. Our email address is americalatinaaldia, so spelt out, at coopradio.org. And you can also check us out on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at ALAD Radio.
Y estamos de vuelta, bienvenidos de vuelta. También queremos recordarles que puede escucharnos en vivo por el internet en el www.coopradio.org y puede llamarnos aquí a la estación al 604-684-7561. Y bueno, también estamos dando la bienvenida a sus comentarios por email, que es americalatinaaldia@coopradio.org. Y también tenemos una cuenta de Twitter que es @alatradio.
All right, you are back listening to America Latina al Dia on CFRO 100.5 FM, Vancouver's cooperative radio station, this beautiful Saturday afternoon, May 12th. And we are lucky enough to have on the phone line with us Nino Pagliccia, who I mentioned at the top of the program is an accomplished writer and editor and activist. He is a Venezuelan Canadian based in Vancouver and is one of the organizers for the Hugo Chavez People's Defense Front. We're going to talk to Nino about the political and social climate in Venezuela at the moment. Phil's going to introduce in Spanish and then we'll kick off the interview in English.
Y regresamos aquí en América Latina al Día en CFRO 100.5 FM, su radio cooperativa en Vancouver, siendo hoy sábado 12 de mayo y tenemos ya en línea a Nino Pagliccia, quien es un consumado escritor y editor, además de activista. Él es un venezolano canadiense con sede en Vancouver y es uno de los organizadores del Frente de la Defensa de los Pueblos Hugo Chávez. Vamos a hablar con Nino sobre el clima político y social en Venezuela en este momento y seguimos con las preguntas en inglés y en español.
Bueno, so welcome to the show, Nino. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate your call.
Perfect. I appreciate you answering. So obviously there's a lot to talk about, but what I would like to start with is to begin by asking you, why do you think the Maduro government moved the election up to this month, to May, from its traditional historical time of December?
Yeah, well, let's remember first that the current Maduro's presidential term is from 2013 to 2018. And it's true that usually elections happen in December. However, the extreme right-wing opposition has incited to violence for the last couple of years that peaked just a year ago, in fact, with about 130 people being killed. Now, one of the major demands from the opposition was for early elections. So Maduro used his constitutional right, first of all, to call to a National Constituent Assembly to allow dialogue leading to peace. Venezuelans responded, in fact, to that in larger majority. So then the government also promoted a dialogue with the opposition that actually reached an agreement to advance the elections. But the opposition, under pressure from their U.S. bosses, I would guess, refused to sign at the last minute. So the Maduro government went ahead and moved the elections to May the 20th. Now the opposition wants to postpone it, but if anything, this is a concession or a compromise from the Maduro government to the radical opposition to invite them to participate in the elections. But they chose to boycott them instead. Now, on the other hand, there are 3 opposition candidates that did not have any problems with elections in May. So I think there will be elections in 8 days or 9 maybe.
Muchas gracias, Nino, por estar con nosotros. Y bueno, tenemos mucho para discutir el día de hoy. ¿Por qué crees tú que el gobierno de Maduro cambió las elecciones para el mes de mayo y no para la época tradicional que es en el mes de diciembre?
Bueno, antes que todo, muchas gracias por la invitación a este programa. Bueno, para responder la pregunta, tenemos que recordar primero que el periodo presidencial de Maduro es del 2013 al 2018. Es cierto que normalmente las elecciones suceden en diciembre, pero la oposición de la derecha ha incitado la violencia por los últimos años, que ha alcanzado un punto crucial y máximo con cerca de 130 personas asesinadas. Y una de las demandas de la oposición fue las elecciones anticipadas. Entonces Maduro usó su derecho constitucional a convocar una asamblea nacional constituyente para permitir el diálogo que condujera a la paz. Los venezolanos respondieron en gran mayoría de forma favorable. El gobierno también promovió un diálogo con la oposición que llegó a un acuerdo para adelantar las elecciones. Ahora, la oposición después, bajo presión de los Estados Unidos, creemos, se negó a firmar a última hora. El gobierno de Maduro, siguió adelante con el acuerdo que se había alcanzado y movió las elecciones a la fecha del 20 de mayo. Pero ahora la oposición se contradice y quiere posponer las elecciones otra vez.
So, Nino, sorry, go ahead.
Sí. Adelante.
Okay, so you kind of mentioned that you think that the principal opposition person wants to suspend the election now, and you said that you suspect that it is due to pressure from the U.S., because I wanted to ask you about that. I read that Vice President of the U.S., I don't remember his first name, Michael Pence, I don't know, but that he called for a suspension of the election as well. So you think that's working in tandem with the opposition saying we don't want this election anymore in May?
Well, so whatever we can see publicly, in fact, we see a total coincidence of ideology or thinking or strategy, whatever you want to call it, between the U.S. government, and not only the U.S. government. We have the Canadian government, we have European Union governments also in agreement with the opposition, the Venezuelan opposition, to boycott the elections. They don't want the elections. So I think that coincidence would tell us that, in fact, they are there's some kind of agreement, if not on paper, definitely, but certainly in terms of the thinking. So I think that will have no effect whatsoever in terms of the elections. I think Maduro was very clear. He said, elections on May the 20th, truene or relampaguee. In English, that would be what? Something like rain or shine. So I think Venezuela is a sovereign country, and that has been the main issue of Chavismo, the main issue of the Bolivarian Revolution. It's a sovereign country. No foreign power has the right to dictate when to hold the elections. And as I think I mentioned before, there are 3 opposition candidates that don't seem to have a problem with that.
Right. So excuse my ignorance for 1 second, but why does so many foreign governments want to postpone and boycott this election? I know it's a kind of a loaded question, but I'm just kind of curious, like when you say they are all boycotting the election, why? Why don't they want Venezuela, who, as you say, is a sovereign nation, to have their own election?
Well, okay, that is a loaded question, but more than loaded, I think it's very complex to be able to cover everything that's implied in that question. I think that maybe the easiest answer, and we've heard that, there's one that is strictly, how would I say, strategic. Venezuela has the largest natural resources in oil and mines and minery in the world. I mean, at least in